It's like, how did I miss this? And it can be about the smallest thing, like some new way to use something in my house, or some new technology or something. It can be a very non-spiritual thing about which I have this spiritual moment of, huh, never thought of it that way. Never used it that way. Huh, from now on, I will use this thing. I had this is the dumbest example. I had an epiphany about staple removers. Because you know how you those little things with little things, and they can hurt you if you get them on your stuff. Those staple removers. Well, I had an epiphany because for my whole life, you know, the staple is in your thing, and I would grip it and yank the staple out. Because that's how I thought they were supposed to work. And then one day, I had an office job when I was first in New York, and I saw the secretary turn the paper over and use those little hooks to open the staple from the back, and then she came around and pulled it from the front with the staple remover. Now, many of you may have been properly taught, and you already know that, but I didn't. I'd been pulling the damn staple out of there, and every time I did it, I would think, they didn't make these things right. It rips the paper. I could have hit the thing with my fingernails and got better than that. Why is staple removers, why are they so stupid? And then I had an epiphany about staple removers. But it changed my life in staple removal. Because I now don't use them stupidly, I use it the right way, and they work really well, and they were brilliant design. See, that's the epiphany. I mean, it's only changing a very minuscule aspect of my life, but changed forever. Changed forever. I would never, you know, and now I see people, a lot of people do it the way I did. I'll see people yanking those staples, and I'll go, do you mind if, may I show you something? I'll turn the thing over, and I'll pull the staple the other way, and they'll go, and I'll realize I have provided epiphany for someone else. And it's, I always feel almost godlike. Like, oh, see, isn't it wonderful? Okay, so that's that thing, that we have these small, personal, life-changing moments, and somebody says epiphany and it feels to us like we ought to see the second coming, and the reality is, it might be a staple remover. It might be as simple as that, and yet we have these opportunities in our lives for a section of our life, tiny like that, or much larger, to change completely. Some of you have had it in relationships. You suddenly looked around and went, oh, wow. When I think of you that way, it changes things. Huh, I didn't notice that before. I wasn't paying attention. I've been married to you for 31 years, and I never noticed. You've all had that, well, maybe not 31 years, but you've all had that experience where you turn around and think, how could I have been in love with you and intimate with you and not have understood or observed this one thing about you that changes everything? And I assume we've all had that in a relationship here or there. I certainly have had it several. And those are exciting moments. It's thrilling to go, I thought I knew you, and suddenly a whole aspect opens up because I had a little epiphany. And sometimes we don't even share it. No need to. It's our epiphany. You know? Now I feel forced to share the staple remover epiphany. But, you know, we don't share them all. Sometimes they're deeply little personal discoveries that are life-changing for us, and they're beautiful in that way. So that has to do with the appearance of deity. Now I really want to talk about this other one. A sudden, intuitive perception of, or insight into, the reality or essential meaning of something. Usually initiated by some simple, homely, or commonplace occurrence or experience. My staple remover moment was initiated by just noticing, for the first time, I'd probably seen people do it correctly before, but at that moment I happened to see one secretary do this thing, and she'll never know, and it certainly doesn't affect the bulk of my life, but it is special to me. I know the moment that I turned my staple remover use differently. And even though it's a tiny thing, the occurrence of those kinds of things is one of the great inspirations to me in life, that the tiniest little thing can turn life around, can turn some little thing around. The very fact that that can happen to us is part of what separates us from the other creatures. Because the other creatures, I don't think, have epiphanies. They might. And I'd love to learn to speak monkey or dog or beaver and find out if they actually, in the middle of their lives, go, you could peel the banana by just, you know, I don't know. They may be having, like, epiphanies too. But I know we do. And I think it's an amazing thing. And the fact that sometimes inadvertently, especially as artists, we get the chance to provide them for others that we will never know. We will never know that somebody straightened out their relationship or took a step in their life or changed a whole bad behavior or whatever just because of some movie we were in and some character we played or some poem that we wrote that we thought was pretty, but we didn't know it would hit somebody on the day that their life was moved by us. And that is a special privilege that the artist gets, to create these subtle epiphanies that are private and that we never will take or deserve credit for. It was their experience. We just provided that moment of sight that allowed them to move. All right. So, Miss Stevenson said to us, these are holy, yet commonplace. They are godlike and yet normal. They have this miraculous feel to them, and yet it's as simple as the staple remover use changes. So I asked the questions in the email that I sent. I asked some questions that I imagine you might have. Like, how can we make them happen? You know, sometimes you've got some situation in your life and you go, I need an epiphany. I need a total game change right about now because the way I'm doing this shit ain't working. You know, it's not making me happy. I need something to come along and shift my consciousness. You know, that's the way diets always happen for me. I can try to diet, I can want to diet, I can know I should diet, I can have other people tell me I should diet. All those things can happen. But there's always one morning I get up and go, okay, start today. I don't know why, but then my life changes and my eating habits change and my weight changes and I don't know why it happened. And God knows on the way to that morning, I'm wanting that epiphany. I'm hoping, I try, I start diets, they don't work, I'm upset, I feel guilty, and then one morning I just go, dieting. Some of you have quit bad habits that way. You know, you did the thing and you took the Nicorette and you did the thing and then one day you got up and went, done with cigarettes. Any of you done that? No? Just done with it. Why? How can you make those happen? Turns out you just have to. Another question we ask is, can we stop them? I don't want to change the way I feel about this, right? I do not want to entertain a new political idea. I like the way I am. And then all of a sudden some politician says something and I go, oh no. Now I have to think of it that way. And then of course you do. You do. And this little epiphany happens. We want them to stop sometimes. And then, as I said, we yearn for them. And we can't make it happen. Oh, I want to go on the diet. Have to wait it out. Sometimes, if you're like me, you wake up. You wake up and it's changed. Have some of you had that? Like, I went to bed hating Susie. I woke up and I feel fine about her. What happened? What happened? Why did my anger just dissipate? Or I went to bed loving somebody. And I woke up, no, not there. What happened? I woke up saying I'm never going to have a pet. You know? And the next morning I wake up going, I need a dog. Sometimes we get to piggyback on somebody else's epiphany, right? Our friend says, you know, and we suddenly go, oh, thank you. That opened my mind about that. Thank you. That's, I let people piggyback on my staple remover. And I know that it's life-changing. And sometimes our moments of enlightenment are completely welcomed by other people. They go, oh, thank you so much. And other times they go, screw you. I'm going to pull a staple. It's exactly the way I've always done it. Drop dead. Don't interfere with my life.